everyone. I'm here with my discussion board post for module number 6 on online learning. My thoughts on online learning for K through 12. I kind of went back and forth on this, mostly because I'm going to date myself here by saying this, but when I was in the K through 12 school system, online learning was very, very much in its infancy. So the area that I live in when I was in K through 12, pretty much brick and mortar public school was the only option other than homeschooling. And I can tell you from my friends that homeschooled, it was not done online. It was primarily done through textbooks and worksheets and papers and just kind of there wasn't a lot of opportunity for the online platform. I don't think it was developed enough to support that yet. However, since then, I do have a student that is child that is in the K through 12 school system right now. And when the pandemic hit, that was when I really got my first experience of being moved to a online platform. And I definitely saw the benefit of having that in place. It was definitely a better option for students versus not being able to attend school at all. So I could see where there is a lot of benefit to online education, that and with the flexibility. Obviously, I'm a college student that goes to school online. And without the flexibility of online learning, I would not have been able to go back to college. So I definitely think that there are a lot of benefits to having that available. I don't necessarily think that it is appropriate for everyone. I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all option. I think that in order for a student to succeed in online learning, they would have to be very motivated and task-oriented to get out all of the assignments done on their own. It's a little different when your teacher is standing there in front of you in the classroom, making sure you're staying on task. So definitely not a one-size-fits-all. I think it's for some, but not for all. Some of the parameters that I think would need to be in place for online learning to work would definitely be what are the expectations of the teachers, the parents, and the students. What is the role that each of them is expected to have? You would need to know that going forward, just to make sure that you could fit all of those expectations in and make it work for the student and, the home life. The other parameter that I could think of is you would definitely want to consider what you have for time. Is it better to have a structured schedule, or do you want to keep it fairly flexible? Either way, I think it's important to designate time, certain times during the week to do the schooling. It would be really easy to get away from school and not get things done if you didn't have that fixed time accounted for in your weekly schedule. So definitely those are two of the biggest parameters I would think that you would need to have in place. I think that it would be a good idea to have online courses required before graduation. I don't know that I agree necessarily with making them mandatory, just for the simple fact that, again, I don't think that the online platform is for every student, and I think it could be a real learning curve for those students that struggle with accountability and motivation. So I don't know that I necessarily agree with making it required. However, providing the opportunity and encouraging students to take the online courses, I think that's valuable. I think that it would only benefit them if they chose to take the online class before graduation. The things I learned so much from the reading and the videos on online learning. mostly the questions that I had going into this, it was a lot more like traditional school than I suspected that it would be. That kind of caught me off guard. And I don't know why I didn't consider this, but the requirements for state assessments, I found that interesting that they still pick regular times for students to take state assessments and that those are required because they are required for public school. But I don't know why I didn't consider that. Also, the attendance requirements or the attendance check-ins for school funding. I thought that was interesting. Again, I don't know why I didn't consider that being part of online learning, but I found that to be very, very interesting how that's done. It was especially helpful to read about that. I believe I read that in the brochure about the Lawrence online school. So that was pretty interesting. The other thing is, and I kind of knew this a little bit just from personal experience, but that they don't encourage students to necessarily be on their computers all day. I thought, you're doing school online, you would need to be on the computer to access materials. But from what I read and watched, it became pretty obvious that they give you assignments and kind of turn you loose. And, not everything is done on the computer. Some of the things that they give you are more hands-on experiments, say for science or whatever. They may give you the guidelines, but then you go and conduct those experiments away from the computer. So definitely thought that was pretty interesting. I definitely thought before the thought of being stuck on a computer all day would be a big drawback for children, just because it's hard to be a kid and sit there all day and stare at a computer screen. They want to get up, they want to move around, and I guess that I didn't realize just how much opportunity there would be for K through 12 for those students to be able to get up and move and do what they needed to do away from the computer. So I thought that was very, very interesting. I think that's it. Have a good week.